So this lines up in a kind of crazy too good way. Originally, because I only have 3 hot rods for this What's the Best video, I wanted to hold off doing this one until I got the Studio Series 86 hot rod, but I was also planning on doing it after my 100 subscriber celebration. But I also wanted to do several easy videos this week because of how much effort the 100 subscriber celebration was. And now I'm also crossing 200 subscribers. So really, there will never be a more perfect time to make an inferior sequel about the inferior sequel of Optimus Prime. This is the perfect storm. To be clear, I don't actually hate Hot Rod like a lot of people do. While when I was younger, I was totally like, this idiot got Optimus Prime killed. Now I struggle to even blame him for any part of Optimus's death. I mean, Optimus had all this time to shoot Megatron after he grabbed the gun, but before Hot Rod tackled him. Really, the only problem here is that Hot Rod isn't struggling in Megatron's grip. Come on, man! Try and fuck up his aim! But yeah, I don't hate Hot Rod, so let's just get on with this What's the Best? What's the best? Hot Rod. That I own? Back to this figure I see. Another figure I've already reviewed. A little callback to earlier this week. When I said reviewed, I'd already said exactly 100 more words than Optimus Prime did in the 86 movie. On the actual figure in question, this is a solid little figure. The vehicle mode captures the spirit of the character without being almost anything like his movie appearance. The deluxes, unlike the larger figures in the Titans Return and Power of the Primes toy lines, were actually allowed to have paint. Which, you know me, I don't care about paint, but stickers kind of actively suck, so this level of paint is what I do want to see. Just enough to breathe a little life into the figure, because this would have looked pretty boring without a few punch-ups here or there. I mean, without paint, what would they ever have done about Hot Rod's chest crest that wouldn't have been a horrible flaky sticker that desperately wants to peel off? He's also got tabs on his grill that his gun pegs into. The Titans Return chair guns honestly sucked, but Hot Rod did at least come with one of the more interesting ones that you can split in two. Anyways, transformation on this guy is fun and fast, but it's a headmaster, and I hate headmasters because headmasters are parts forming. But my hatred for headmasters has cooled a bit, because Titans Return was actually a pretty good line with the mandatory flaw of parts forming. I actually keep all my headmasters in head mode inside the cockpits out of pure disdain for the idea, but at least it was attempting to be something more than just cheap and lazy. Like they were going for a thing I don't think was worth it, but hey, it's better than they just didn't want to put in the effort of designing them better. Back to my original point, it's a headmaster and it didn't need to be one, but that doesn't stop this from being a really enjoyable transformation. The fact that the backpack constantly pops up is what does that. I kid, but the backpack did used to pop off all the time because of a massive nub of flashing I finally thought to cut off just a few days ago. Anyways, the true blight of this transformation is that you have to remember to take the head out first, because otherwise you have to put him partway back into his vehicle mode to get it out. The robot is flawed with his gorilla arms, and the head feels more generic than it does feel like Hot Rod, but I do like the legs, both in the way they transform and the way they look. Something about them just screams to me, guy who thinks he's cool, which is absolutely that Hot Rod life. Still don't know if it looks better with the abs revealed, but Hot Rod is absolutely the kind of guy who would buy a half shirt to show off his sick gains, bruh. Ah yes, this guy. Another figure I've already, finger quotes, reviewed. I'm going to be honest, I don't really like handling this guy. Definitely nowhere near as cohesive as the last one in car mode, more so in Winnebago mode, but the Winnebago mode is the entire reason I don't like touching this thing, because it desperately wants to fall apart and attaching the car to the camper is a pain in the ass. Anyways, transformation on this guy into regular robot mode is like a 4.5 out of 10. It would be decent if you were just going by the arms and the backpack, but getting the feet and head out are just not fun. And you end up with this really dumpy, Hot Rod? Question mark? This is absolutely not Hot Rod. This is a figure that turns into 2 different versions of Rodimus Prime, which is interesting to say the least. The shoulders are awkward, the backpack hangs way too low and hampers posability, and hilariously enough, the skirt flips up, but it doesn't net you even one more degree of posability because there's another skirt that doesn't move right behind the one that does. The hands are baggy, and did I mention that the stickers here suck? Because the stickers here suck. The ones that are on good have kindergarten level detail, and the ones that don't have kindergarten level detail are peeling off. Combination is also at like a 4 out of 10. Some of this is a little fun, but unlike the Power of the Prime's Prime, this has parts forming, and no, I don't count the fact that it combines with its trailer parts forming. This is just otherwise a bonus to a figure you bought because you did at least get a working figure out of it without parts forming. I never really did care for parts that transform just to get out of the way of other parts and then transform right back, and now we have this awkward, floppy, baggy arm thing with a huge backpack. I swear I'm always worried about the shoulders breaking and they don't ever want to stay in. And oof, that's an ugly face. At least this one has a wrist swivel, which the Power of the Prime's Prime was missing for unknown reasons. Stickers still suck. Alright, time for the masterpiece Hot Rod. Let me let you in on a little secret. I bought this on October 8th, 2017, which means I got this 3 days after I got the Masterpiece Soundwave that restarted my obsession with collecting. Anyways, that makes this the 3rd masterpiece I've ever owned behind the MP Soundwave, who in turn is behind the MP Grimlock, putting this at the 5th figure I got and the 4th that I bought since Takara Black Arachnia. Anyways, long-winded, boring story aside, I've got one question for you, and that's, how much more Hot Rod could this be? And the answer is, none. None more Hot Rod. This thing doesn't roll very good, and don't try because the thing stopping it from rolling is this collar piece hanging down, and trying to roll it scratches this up something fierce. Just let sleeping dogs not roll if you don't want to damage the figure. Gotta point out, I love those headlights. Transformation on this guy is great. He's actually a bit of a shell former below the waist, but the shell actually has a really fun compression cycle where it packs away into a backpack. It's easily the highlight of the figure. Some stuff's a bit iffy, but it's still fun, and you end up with this. And now I ask you, how much more Hot Rod could this be? And the answer is none. None more Hot Rod. I know that people have issues with this design, and I gotta call them crazy. Oh no, the waist doesn't cinch tight enough. So? Are you seriously asking for this to be one-to-one perfectly screen accurate? Because let me tell you, I've seen G1, and that's a lost cause. G1 isn't even accurate to G1. I've even seen people like Jobby criticize the backpack, and I'm seriously confused. The backpack is small and clean. The only problem is it looks less than stellar from one angle. What more do you want? I suppose a real criticism is that the chrome wears off his pipes for no reason. Seriously? There? There! Nothing touches that! What is causing it to wear there? I suppose it's also not the cleanest chrome job of all time. Anyway, posing is great on this guy. Forgot to really mention the other two. Solid but very floppy, and acceptable but oddly restrictive, as well as floppy and restrictive at the same time, while desperately trying to fall apart. He's got forward butterfly if you're okay with the arm doing it being crazy loose, double knees, ankle tilts, I mean really loose ones, but they are there, wrist action, ab crunch, I mean a really loose ab crunch, but I think you can see the one really big problem with this figure. Good posing, just too loose for comfort. He's also got some sweet 80s Ray-Bans, bro, and an opening chest for the Matrix in his guts. Hotrod would keep that closer to his ass than Optimus would. Anyways, so, what's the best? Look, I'm not even going to waste your time. It's the masterpiece. It's obviously going to be the masterpiece. Between the choices of a flawed deluxe headmaster which captures the spirit but not the look and flops about like a fish on land, and a critically flawed digivolving weirdo who flops about even harder, of course it's gotta be the masterpiece. Looks dead on in both modes, transforms great, poses great, it's very floppy, but that's apparently just how hot rods be do. Can't really hold it against one if they're all like this. But let me not diminish the masterpiece. It's not the best because it was put up against limp competition. This is a really fun, really good figure. MP Hotrod, the best Hotrod, captures the look, captures the character, and it's just a great figure on its own. Followed by the Titan's Return, and then trailing dramatically in last place is the Power of the Flames. Expect a review of the studio series when it finally comes out, and an updated ranking list in that video. I expect it will probably snake the second place from the Titan's Return. And anyways, that's not half of what I had to say, but it's enough of what I had to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please, share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.